Good morning. Good morning. How are we today, guys? Super excited to talk to you this morning. And I'll wait a few minutes for people to join us if they are going to join us this morning. My hope is this is going to reach someone in the future when I upload this and it'll have a recording for people to watch in the future. And I'm excited to talk about this topic this morning. It's really where I'm passionate about, and I spend a lot of my time and energy really diving into these kind of higher thoughts. I don't know if I was just born that way or I've learned more about the way things work in the world and my life and kind of what makes me tick. So I'm super excited to discuss this with you today. And I've spent time to prepare this because I think it's important for all of us, especially those that are in the entrepreneurial world that are always looking for improvement, self development, how to get an edge, how to separate yourself from the pack, advantages and skill sets and skills, tactics, learn strategies. All these things are so important as we elevate and as we try to get to the next level. I'm not just talking about your financial status, I'm talking about learning this whole game of life, to put it that way, the whole game of life. Okay. And so I kind of put this uh, wording out there yesterday. I said, stop being a bitch and learn how to step into your greatness, into your calling. That was more clickbaity because I wanted people to pay attention to what I had to say. But this is not here to tear anybody down or throw negativity out in the world, because God knows we have way too much negativity going on in the world. But the goal of this is to help you realize really the inner game of life and what it takes to rewire your brain, rewire how you've been brought up, how you've been conditioned in order to break through and kind of see where possibilities exist. Okay. So let's talk about that. What is the bitch voice? Right? We all have it. Some of us aren't aware of it. Some of us might be aware of it, but we all have this inner voice, this inner dialogue that steals from us. It's a thief. And this voice brings thoughts and feelings of jealousy. It's a liar. It's negative. It's a complainer. It cheats. It cheats us. It has no integrity. And it steals our joy and is a thief of happiness. Now think about it. Take yourself back to times in your life. Maybe you're a teenager, or maybe you were growing up a little bit younger, or maybe through your college years. Did you ever feel uncomfortable in your own skin? Did you ever have these thoughts of warning? Did you ever have these thoughts that you weren't enough, that the world was against you, that whatever you tried seemed to fail, that you just couldn't seem to have that confidence or belief in yourself to accomplish the things that you wanted to accomplish? These are the things that this narrative that you play in your head, that you wake up to every single day, that whenever a challenge presents itself, you immediately go and you retract and you start thinking of all the negative things. It's the things that could go wrong. It's the things that could potentially put you in a worse situation. The fear of failure or the fear of success. Those are two real things. So I want you guys to start tuning in into some of the things that you tell yourself. What are the thoughts that you wake up with every single day? What is your opinion of yourself? What is the opinion of what you believe to be true? Where do you stand on things that are going on in your life? How do you think about things? We've talked about this before. It's the thought on the thought, right? But as I'm preparing this and thinking more about it, I'm really fascinated into what. And I'm wearing my Jordan shirt today, coincidentally, because you've heard, if you're a sports fan or watch sports, and an athlete performs in a certain game or an event just out of his mind, right? Out of his body, scores a bunch of points, or just unstoppable. And they're usually, after the game, they're interviewed, and they'll ask, what was going on, like what, what was going on in your mind? How did you elevate and just dominate? And you probably heard it say, the athlete will say, I don't know, man, I was just in the zone. So I've been intrigued with that. Like, what is the zone? How do you get into the zone, right? Like, what does that mean? So, the zone, as it's described, is the mental state of operation in which a person performing an activity is fully immersed in a feeling of being energized and focused, full of involvement and enjoyment of the process. Can you guys think of times when you were in the zone, right? I mean, none of us here watching probably played in the NFL, or Major League Baseball, or flew in the air and dunked a basketball in the NBA Finals. But at some point in our life, like, we were just in the moment. Everything was rolling. We were having success, and things started to become easy to us. Have you guys ever been in that environment? Have you ever felt that you were in the zone in any particular time of your life? Wouldn't you love to be able to harness that feeling, and put yourself in the zone of consciousness, of thought, of activity, and be at a peak state? How do you become a peak performer and float in that zone in our life? Isn't that something like we all want to know? Wouldn't we love to have the potential to do anything we set our mind to without limitation? Wouldn't it be cool to be able to set your mind on a goal and have no doubt that you're going to accomplish it? For me, this stuff is really fascinating. It's intriguing, because I believe this is the game within the game. You know, Too many times we're focused on the daily action and the how to, right? Those are just like repetitive things we think about. We get too caught up in the details and the minutia of things. And we don't spend enough time creating. We don't spend enough time figuring out how to get into our zone of genius, where we can really operate subconsciously at a really high level, where we use our God given abilities and our traits and our power, if you will, to just operate at a high level. Okay, so this is the type of stuff that, like, is really interesting to me, and I've been able to be in rooms with very high level performers, and none of the discussion is surrounded about you know marketing or business strategy or a plan. I mean, those are important, right? But you can plan together, but if you can't execute at a high level, then you're wasting your time. If you don't believe in you, that plan is useless. I've said it before, man, I can give anybody a blueprint to success, but it all starts with us as an individual. If we believe we can go out and execute that strategy or that plan without any limitation, without any self-limiting beliefs, then anything is possible. Okay? So I'm going to talk to you guys about that, and I want you guys to think about the times that you have operated in an area that you were unconsciously dominated. And if you have been in that, I'd like to hear some of your examples and thoughts. Okay? Let me ask you guys a question. Do you think it's possible to draw your future to you? Can your thoughts make you sick or make you well? Do you believe that? You see, we don't spend enough time thinking about what we think about. I mean, imagine the thoughts that you woke up with today. Were they Were they positive, or did you immediately go to your problems? Did you immediately start thinking about the bills that you have to pay? Did you immediately start thinking about the situation in the world? Did you immediately start thinking about all of the shortcomings or the things that are hanging over your head? Or did you spring out of bed with energy and excitement and vigor and a big hope, a big dream? Or did you wake up and like, man, this is another day. I don't know how I'm going to get through this. Isn't that like a sucky existence? Wouldn't you want to wake up every single day on fire with energy, with clarity, with purpose, with a big goal, a big dream, and then be able to walk in that, to live in that every single day? I would. I would ask you if that's not something you would want. I would ask why. Do you like misery? You know, misery loves company. So again, guys, we create all of this. We're the master of our emotions, good or bad. Either we're a slave to it or we master it. So the minute we start understanding this is the minute we can start creating a new life, a new vision, a new purpose, a bigger goal, a bigger dream. So how you think will lead to how you act. And how you act is how you feel. So those things, how you think, how you act, and how you feel, makes up your personal personality, which is also known as your present personal reality. You guys heard about that? So your personality makes up those things of how you think, how you act, and how you feel, and that correlates to what your present personal reality is. So what your reality is at this very minute, this day, is a direct result and correlation to how you think, how you act, and how you're feeling. And what's cool about this, guys, is that it says your present personal reality. It doesn't mean it's your certain or your permanent or unchangeable. We can change our reality. This is true. Do you believe that? You can change your reality, but it all starts with how you think, then how you act, and then ultimately how you feel. So if you're in a place right now of unsatisfaction, if you're not feeling like things are going well for you, if you're not feeling that you're fulfilling your destiny, if you're just giving up on your dreams, the good news is you can change that. You have the power to do that. You control the circumstances. I think that's important for everybody to understand that we control this. Okay? Ask yourself, what do you struggle with the most? Do you think about what you're thinking about? Do you wake up with a vision of the future or a record of your past? So I asked that question. Think about the last few days, or if you can think back that far, even this morning. What was the first thought in your mind this morning? Was it something positive or was it something negative? Did you go to a record? Did you pull a record from your memory, which is your past, and start your day on that thought? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on this because I'm trying to really help you guys paint this picture of how you can control your reality, how you can control your destiny, how you can control the future, and you can create a really, really big future. Okay? Again, do you have a vision of your future or a memory from your past? Where do you live your existence? It's your choice. It all starts in your mind. So again, what's your vision? And their future by their thoughts. So to change your thoughts is to change your energy. Change your thoughts, you can change your energy, you can change your life. So I have a question, guys. Have you ever willed something into existence, good or bad? It works both ways. What you focus on expands. So I remember growing up, my big dream was to play college baseball. That's all I thought about growing up in high school was, you know, going to a Division I school, playing baseball, and I thought that was it. I thought that was everything. So I conditioned myself every single day to think about that, to obsess about it, to dream about it, to really, have these huge goals in my mind about getting to play college baseball. Like that was like the biggest thing in my mind. And I spent many years dreaming of it. I spent many years working towards it and focused on it and thinking about it. It was very present in my mind. I saw myself in a Division I school. I saw myself competing and playing and what it would feel like to put a uniform on, what it would feel like to travel to these cool baseball programs across the country, what it would feel like to, step on a college baseball field. You know, what would it smell like? What would it feel like? What would I what would I feel like putting a uniform on? Cool would it be to like step in the batter's box around, with a bunch of people watching? Like I put myself into that consciousness. I thought about it, and it's amazing the way things work when we start to focus on these things, like our dreams and our goals. Even though I was in Fresno playing in a high school baseball, I put myself in the future. I put myself in a college baseball program in a uniform, and I let it happen. I thought about how it would make me feel, and it's just the way that things work. And so, even though I wasn't like a highly recruited player, I wasn't given a scholarship, I had already created that experience, and by taking action and believing in it, I ended up playing Division I baseball. I went to Long Beach State, and we were a number two team in the country preseason when I arrived there. They just came from the World Series. I watched this specific team on TV playing in the College Baseball World Series, and at the time, that was like I said, that was everything. That was like my universe. It was like the biggest thing in the world to me. And so, for a kid from Fresno to go to Long Beach State, never leaving Fresno, never being on my own, like that was so big. And when I arrived there, it was surreal. And it was a funny story. Like I said, I wasn't recruited and I wasn't given a scholarship, so the odds of me really making that team were slim to none. As a walk on, to be able to be on the team is very very difficult. There's only um, like 35 players that are on the roster every year, and out of that 35, 25 of them are on the active roster, right? So the dirt bags. There you go. Yes. So to be a part of that is a big deal, right? For guys that are wanting to play college baseball. And so it was so important to me. And I got there, and the very first day they had a preseason meeting, and I didn't know the rules. I didn't know that I wasn't technically part of the team. So, but at the same time, there was a baseball meeting, so I thought, well, I should attend because the coaches kind of knew I was coming. I was a semi recruited walk on. So when I arrived there, I was put in the baseball dorms. We call it the baseball dorms because that's where all the baseball players live. And coincidentally, my roommate was a recruited player. He was a starting outfielder. So I thought, man, like this is all set up for me. Like they want me a part of it. So we go to the first team meeting. Everyone, the coaches are there greeting the players, the people they're expecting, the returning players, the seniors, the juniors, the recruited guys that are on scholarship. And then here comes me walking through the door. And I remember like shaking the coach's hand, and I could just feel like he didn't say it right away, but it was almost like, who's this guy? Why is he here? And so I go inside the classroom where the meeting is, and I don't know, a minute later, one of the assistant coaches comes in. He leans into me. And he's like, "Oh, Matt, yeah, you're not technically allowed to be here right now. This is for players that are on the team." And I said, "Oh, okay." So I remember like the whole team was there, and I got up and I was so dejected. I was so hurt, and I was walking. It was a long walk back to the dorm room. I remember crying. I was like crying, and I thought my world just crumbled. I thought everything fell apart, and I just was wondering, like, why was I such a fool? Like, why did I believe this was going to happen for me? And I called my parents, and I was really upset. And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing here. I've never been away from home. They don't even want me. I don't know why I showed up. And so I was really dejected. I was really sad. And I just wanted an opportunity. I just wanted to be a part of the team, and it didn't look like that was going to happen. Well, about a week or two go by, and I get a phone call in the dorm room, and it's the coach. The coach says, "Hey, Garabedian, we had a player unexpectedly quit. So if you want to come out to practice, we'll give you a shot and see. No promises, but we'll give you an opportunity." I was so happy, and I hung up the phone, and I was like jumping for joy. And I'm like, "Yes, I knew it. I knew this was meant to be." Make a long story short, or a little bit longer, less long. Um, I ended up making the team, guys. I made the team. I was a walk on, and I ended up eventually making it onto the traveling roster, part of the 25 guys. And then I turned into, by the time I was a junior and a senior, I was like a leader of the team, even though I didn't play that much. Like, I inspired the coaches, I inspired my teammates because I'd show up every day, I'd work hard. I was just happy to be there. And so I turned into a dirtbag, right? If you don't know the Long Beach State Dirtbags, it's an unofficial nickname about one of the first teams in history that was an unknown school that ended up going to the College World Series, and they were the underdogs, and they called us dirtbags because we played on this dusty old field, and every time we'd be diving for ground balls, or they would be diving for ground balls, and uniforms are all dirty. And one day, one of the coaches was like, "Man, you guys look like a bunch of dirtbags," and that's how the name, kind of stuck, right? Hope, yes, sir. So I'm getting a little bit off tangent, but the point that I wanted to make is, guys, like, I believe that with all my mind, with all my heart, with all my soul, that I belong there, that I was going to go there, no matter what the circumstances entailed. I was going to be a part of it, and I willed it. I willed it to happen, and I've taken now that experience because I felt it, I saw it, it became real for me, and now that's how I I constantly evolve. I take this into my life now. Whatever I focus on, no matter what the circumstances, I know it's going to work out, and I have this unwavering belief and confidence because I've gone through these experiences. I've felt it. I've seen it happen, and that's where this whole point of this is, right? Um, you've got to have a vision of the future. Like I said, I had this vision of my future in a college baseball uniform years before I got there. And so it was so sealed into my mind, into my presence, into my body, that it was going to happen. I didn't live in the past. The past is the past. So we have that choice. What do you guys want now that you can start living in? Even though it may not be a reality today, you've got to start living in that future now. That's why I'm asking you, when you wake up, what are you living? Like, what is your reality? Are you living from a record of the past, or are you living in your big future? This is what is the game changer. This is the separator. This is what takes people from ordinary to extraordinary. It's all here. We have to learn how to harness that power. It's powerful. And I hope that this is what you guys are looking for. Okay? People condition their thoughts, their future, by their thoughts. To change your thought is to change your energy, to change your life. Okay? again, I'm repeating myself because this is probably something that if you're interested in this, it's real. This is like a heavy note-taking thing, and you can watch the replay, but this stuff is real, guys. And if you don't believe it, then you're shortchanging yourself. You're shortchanging your future. You're robbing yourself. You're going back and listening to this. Because again, that voice is a liar. It's negative. It's a complainer. It's a cheater. Has no integrity. It steals all of your joy and all of your happiness. And you create that. That's the crazy thing. So if you're over there hating on people, if you're jealous of someone's success, if you're jealous of other people, if you have a terrible attitude, if you wake up every day in a miserable existence, if you have no vision of your future, if you don't believe you're worthy of it, that you can get it, that you can create it, then you're robbing yourself. You're the fool. And that's what I want to teach you guys, is that everything is possible. But it all starts with the way you think about yourself, how you're conditioning yourself. Okay? Again, you can't create a new future while thinking about your past. To truly change, you must become better than your body. Okay? What do I mean by that? Because your body doesn't follow your mind. I don't know if you realize that, because we can think positively, but if our body doesn't follow, if we don't feel good, we don't believe it, if we're not feeling it, then whatever you're telling yourself in your mind is not going to stick. You've got to condition. You got to become better than your feelings. You got to become better than your body. I'm going slow here because I want this to sink in, guys. And if you have questions, let me know. Your old self versus your new self. So your old self is a record of your past. Okay, it's in the past. Whatever shortcomings you've had, whatever failures, whatever things that you've done in the past are the past. You can't change it. The problem is, most of us live in the past. You bring your past with you, and you believe that's your identity. You believe that the old you is the present you. And it could be true if you're choosing to bring the records of your past with you to condition yourself for today. How about we start looking at the new self? Where is it that you're going? The map of the future, right? That's the game changer. How do we will ourselves to be where we want to go? Again, condition of the mind has to precede the feelings of the body. So what thoughts, behaviors, and choices do you adopt daily? Old memories or the new self? You got to get up every day in the emotions and the vision of your new future. The problem is most of us don't even know what we want. So we can't create this future. We're not clear. We don't know where we're going. Where do you see yourself going? What is it that you want? That's a big question. Most of us will give an arbitrary answer. I want more of this or more of that, or I want happiness, or I want confidence, or I want more friends or more money. Whatever that is, you got to get really defined with it and very clear, so that you can get to your future. Like I said, my whole existence growing up was baseball. I wanted to play college baseball. I saw myself. I knew where I was going. Do you know where you're going today? What does tomorrow look like? What does a year from now look like? What does 5 years from now look like? Do you spend any time on that? Do you spend on any time conditioning yourself to get to that point? Or are you, again, looking behind you? Are you always in the rearview mirror? Are you always thinking, man, the good old days? Man, it used to be like this. Man, I remember back in 2013, we did this. Man, that was when the economy was better. Man, I was in better shape then. Man, I was more happier then. How many times do you guys do that to yourself? I'm speaking from experience because I've gone through this. I've done a lot of work on myself, and that's what has gotten me to a level of success. Not because I'm really cool or really great or I know some secrets that you don't know. I've just spent time on learning about math. I've spent time and investment in knowledge and books and mentors in higher level thinking to learn about the strategies, to learn about the things that we need to learn about that's important. If we're not working on ourselves daily, we're not getting better. How can you create this new vision, this new goal, this new dream, this new you without even understanding who you are? It doesn't work like that. So here's what is something that you guys need to understand. Your feelings are the language of the body. You've heard it said or seen when you notice someone with bad body language, right? So what does that even mean? Someone that has bad body language, they're slumped over, their arms are folded, they've got a frown, they're, always shaking their head, they're a pessimist, they've got a bad attitude, they're always looking at the negative thing, they're always walking at a slow pace, they have no urgency, they have nowhere to go, they're not in a hurry, they're excuse makers, they're complainers, they're getting dominated by that bitch voice. They're a slave to the bitch voice, right? So the minute you can start becoming conscious of this is the minute you can start changing the narrative that you're telling yourself. You're creating your destiny. You're creating your future by the thoughts that you're bringing with you. Your record of your past is dictating your future. Plain and simple. So there's always a big topic about goal setting, right? Most of us love to set goals in January, the new year. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to make this much money. I'm going to get in this shape. I'm going to, accomplish these goals. And we're really motivated. Well, the reason that goal setting doesn't work or hasn't worked for you is because you haven't learned to take your body with you. The mind will always revert back to your body because your body is a program. You programmed your body, the feelings, the emotions, the energy that you carry with you through all of your experiences in the past, your habits, your routines, how you look at things, how you look at circumstances. If you look at certain things a certain way, they make you feel a certain way. True? A deal falls apart, marketing isn't working, a relationship falls apart, you cheat on a diet, you cheat on a goal, whatever it is. How does that make you feel? It's because you're going back. Your body isn't caught up with your mind, with your goal, with your vision, because the body again is a program. You programmed it to react a certain way to failure, to uncertainty, to uncomfortableness. And so when the body starts feeling a certain way, starts protecting, ultimately your mind is going to revert back. So that's why it said things happen for me and not to me. So how are you looking at circumstances in your life? Are you taking a negative result or a unwanted result, and your mind starts to think, well, that's typical, that is expected, that always happens to me. I knew this wouldn't work. I'm failing. I don't have what it takes. So then your body creates that connection with what you're telling yourself, and then you start to feel sad, you start to feel dejected, you lose energy, you lose that vigor, you don't want to wake up, you're not living in your future, you're collecting your feelings from the past and correlating that to your future. these are the things that we have to understand. These are the keys to success. This is what's going to get you to the next level. Being very cautious of this. Your mind and your body, right? Your mind's powerful. So is your body. And we have to start reversing our energy to put us in a direction that we want to go and not reverting back. Don't direct your energy to the external. We only have a certain amount of energy each day, right? So if we continue to give it to other people, we buy into jealousy, if we buy into negativity, if we buy into the news, if we buy into the lies, if we always are easily tossed back and forth, that means that we're just giving out our energy to circumstances, to people, to opinions, to comparisons, to social media, watching, obsessing, jealously hating on others, hating to see people succeed. What you're doing is you're stealing from yourself. You're stealing from your energy, your focus. What you need to learn to do is learn to keep your energy, take your power back. Those things out there shouldn't rob or steal from you, because you need to learn how to use that energy for you, for your growth, for your environment, for your future, for your positive frame of mind. Learn to control your body, learn to control your mind, and start using that to your advantage. Don't buy into the lie. Don't buy into the false conceptions out there. Don't believe everything you read or hear on the internet or see on TV. It's all designed to work against you. So if you're robbing yourself, how can you create? How can you live in a new future? How can you believe you're going to get to the next level? You can't. You're constantly working against you. You're your own worst enemy. So we've got to learn how to wear our future. We've got to take our bodies with us. Condition your body that your future has already happened. So that's why you can wake up and see yourself already inside of your goals. You see yourself already at that destination. You feel it. You know what it feels like. You can see it. It's very detailed. You can smell it. You can taste it. You can experience it. Guys, I don't know how many times I've been able to do this despite my present circumstance. So many times. And it doesn't really matter what it is that you want or what your goal is or what your dream is. That's not important. What's important is that you believe that and you feel that, right? Because if you're not, then you're fooling yourself. You're just going to be looking for motivation. You're going to be looking for some type of spark, or, man, I just don't have the energy. I just don't have that that I can't find that zone. You're always searching for something because you've yet to believe it. You've yet to live there. And so I want all of you guys to really understand this and understand the power of it. Because if whatever your present circumstances, it doesn't define you. If you feel like there's something more out there for you, if you feel like you've got this big goal and this big dream, I encourage you to start living in that and working towards it and believing and processing how it all feels and how it makes you feel and what it looks like to you and how it'll work. Your familiar past versus your new future. The past brings old memories and feelings. Many times, we don't really like the old memories or those old feelings. And that creates stress. So when you're constantly reverting back to negativity, to the old circumstance, to the old outcomes, to the old you, to the one that doesn't have a future, that creates stress. So that means your brain and your body are out of balance. That's what stress is. You're not in line Those two are not in line with each other. It's this. There's a constant infighting. So that it's stressful for our makeup. Our mind and our body go through stress when we're out of line, right? And so it's super important for us to start getting really in, intense, intensely focused on this and understanding, because this is our life. This is this is what we're creating. We only have a certain amount of time, you know. And God, if He chooses to give us more years, what are we doing with it? I mean, these are the things that I think about daily. I'm taking notes. I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about what's stressing me out. What memories or lies or negativity am I pulling with into my future with, or how am I learning to be cognizant of that and then reject that, right? Reject the things that I don't want, and then create that new future where I see myself many years ahead in that particular goal, obtaining that goal, how it feels, how I see it, what are the details, what are the circumstances of it, and I live there, because that's the future. It's the uncreated future. The past doesn't belong in our future. Those old feelings and those negative thoughts and the rejection and the baggage and the failure, it doesn't belong in the future. When you bring it with you, you're just creating the same circumstance, the same broken record, the same issues, the same bad attitude, the same bitch voice that's controlling you. If you think about it, right, it's that flight or fight response. Back in the caveman days, there was real danger out there. I mean, you could be, eaten by a predator. And in some cases, I mean, right now it's not really safe to even walk in the streets in some areas, because you can just get mugged or beaten or murdered for your political reasons, or your skin color, or what people perceive you as. It is pretty crazy out there, right? So if we're buying into that stress response, if we're living in survival mode, do you guys live in survival mode? Are you constantly protecting? I can't lose this. I've got this. I've got to protect this. I've got to protect that. Can't give away my secrets. I can't share. I can't be open. I can't be vulnerable. I can't hope others do well. I can't participate with others because they're going to steal from me. They're going to cheat me. They're going to compete against me. All of these things are survival modes, right? We're stuck protecting. So when we're stuck protecting, we can't create. We can't be our best version of ourselves. We can't think of the new future. We can't plan and strategize and execute when we're playing defense. The minute we understand that we're prisoners of our own thoughts is the minute we could break through. Kind of like the Matrix, right? It's kind of a silly movie, but there's some truth to it, right? You guys have any comments? Just over your head. Is this useful? Am I just talking a bunch of gibberish? Again, we can't produce when we're living in fear. A lot of us have this really narrow focus of our potential. We're very limited into what we believe is possible. We see an obstacle, and all we do is stare at the obstacle. The big achievers, the guys that have gone on to do great things, don't see the obstacle. They see what's on the other end of that obstacle, and they work through the obstacle to get to the destination. If you're continually hitting the obstacle and you don't figure out how to get around it or see through it, you're never going to advance. So, too narrow of a focus is a bad habit. It you produce self-limits, self-limiting beliefs. So you need to learn how to open your awareness to the space, infinite, abundance, goodness that's around you. The magic of thinking big. So when you allow those thoughts to flood your emotions, your body to follow, your mind to go, you're clear, you're focused, you have intent, you have purpose, you're on fire, you're goal oriented, you have a big vision, a big dream. Everyone around you is an ally and not an enemy. You have abundance, not scarcity. You see yourself executing. You have this dream. You have this goal. You have this focus. That's when things happen. That's when things create. That's when things open up for you. But if you're sitting playing scared, if you're sitting there hating on people, if you're sitting there wishing bad things, if you're jealous, if you're angry, if you're upset, you're creating it. It's you. You're drinking the poison. Just understand what you're talking about. Entrepreneurs have to embrace risk. Of course, there's always a risk in something, right, to a degree. But how do you look at that, right? Is that a risk that you're taking because you know you might believe it can be happen, or you're playing defense to avoid the risk? You have a certain risk tolerance, or do you go all in? You're like, dude, I'm taking it, good, bad, or indifferent. I'm gonna figure it out because I don't see the temporary setback. I don't see the temporary obstacle. I see the end result. I've already conditioned my mind, my body, my presence, my my pace, my state to live in that future. So regardless of what's coming each day, it doesn't matter. It's just a moment in time to get to that end result. So your brain and your body and your heart, right, all has to work in coherence. That's where the magic happens. We connect with the vision of the future, and all our energy flows in that direction. So we learn to vibe at a whole new level, right? This is emotional intelligence, guys. If you don't understand what this is learning about yourself. This is going back to your past, to what you learned, to the experiences, to your childhood. I've done a lot of work on myself because I had brokenness. I had um, bad thoughts. I had a low self-esteem. I had a low opinion of myself. I had all of these shortcomings that I had to work through. I had to face them. I had to learn about them. I had to learn why I felt the way I felt, why I treated myself the way I treated myself. I growing up, I was always a follower. I was afraid to speak my mind. I wanted to fit in. I wanted to be accepted. I wanted to feel cool. I wanted to hang out with the cool kids. So I was easily manipulated in terms of doing things that others did just to fit in, right? But I noticed as I grew older, I didn't fit in as well. Like I didn't. I I started to become um, comfortable being alone, right? The thing is, like, very high level entrepreneurs, thinkers, action takers, people that get things done, they're very comfortable being alone. I'm super comfortable to go eat by myself, to go to a movie by myself, to do things by myself. I don't feel like I need someone's attention, or I feel like I need to be around other people all the time to feel, safe or to feel secure. So do you feel like you always need someone's approval, someone else's opinion, someone else to justify your actions? Or are you comfortable enough and believe in yourself enough to do the things that you want to do, regardless of other people's opinions, judgments, attitudes, whatever it is? That's a learned behavior. It takes work to get there. Maybe some are born like that. I don't know. But I know all of us have, a certain desire to feel accepted, to feel welcome, to feel acknowledged, to feel significant. All of us have that in us. I mean, all humans have that to some degree. We want to feel special. We want to feel loved. We want to feel like we're important. We want to feel like we're being heard. All of those things are important, but we can't design our lives based on others' acceptance, based on others' opinions, based on other people's attitudes or beliefs about what it is or what we aren't doing. I don't look for another man's approval anymore. I used to. I used to be really concerned about it. But again, that was a thief of my joy, of, of my creativity, of what was important to me, right? So looking for man's approval and acceptance is a losing battle. Recognition and wanting those, accolades and recognition your of your accomplishments. That's what like social media is so screwed up because we're now being conditioned or have been conditioned by likes and comments and views. And when people don't like, comment, or view, we feel rejected. We feel like we're unimportant. We feel like we don't have a voice. And that's kind of what the crazy thing is about what social media has created. We're always craving for acceptance and validation from external things instead of learning how to accept ourselves, to get really clear on what we want, to see our vision, to set our goal, and then go for it, regardless of what the world says. Your guilt, your suffering, your jealousy can't create a new future for you. We must become self aware to overcome our old self. That's that emotional intelligence part. Are you spending time understanding you? Like, we have to live with us. There's no getting out of that. Yeah, I mean, that's where alcohol and drug abuse and all these things that people go to because they can't cope. They have a really bad coping mechanism. So it's really difficult to look in the mirror. It's really hard to say, man, I'm a kind of a piece of shit right now. Excuse my French, but people want to avoid that uncomfortableness. It's hard for them to look in the mirror and say, man, I'm screwing up. Like, I need to make some wholesale changes in my life in order for me to elevate to get to the next place. You know, Paying attention to your thoughts, how you feel. Are you living in the past or are you creating a future? Or are you letting the bitch voice control you? So it's all about who you become, not who you are. It's so important to understand that. You have the opportunity to become whoever you want in this world. And that can be good and it can be bad, right? So that ties into, a different conversation and what your core values are and your belief system and your faith and your confidence and your view of the world. But in order to do all this, like, you have to become emotionally intelligent. Learn to understand yourself, your thoughts, how those thoughts make you feel, how it correlates to your body, how you wake up each day, in a record of the past or the new future. Sergio, I have a big vision. I have a vibrant energy every morning to go for it. I learn something new on a daily basis to enrich my options. I know exactly what I want. How do I isolate negative external noise, especially nowadays? How do you isolate negative external noise? Well, just because you have a thought doesn't mean you have to believe it. Just because you hear a piece of noise or news or advice or opinions doesn't mean you have to believe it. We have 60, 70, 80,000 thoughts per day. And a lot of them are the same thoughts we had the day before and the day before that and the year before that. So what you tell yourself and what you allow in, you don't have to believe it. It's just a thought. The problem is when we take those thoughts and then we start creating our identity around them, even if they're true or not. I'm a failure. I'm fat. I'm lazy. I'm broke. I'll never become wealthy. I'll never do a real estate deal. I'll never create a business. I'll never get that car. I'll never get that house. I'll never have that relationship. What are you telling yourself? Just because you have the thought doesn't mean it's real. Now, the good thoughts, we want to believe in those. We want to embrace those. We want to live in that future self. But if it's the same reoccurring thoughts from the past that, constantly point out your shortcomings, point out your failures, point out your anxieties and your stress, and you continue to let that fester inside of you and grow and grow and grow, pretty soon you wake up and that's your identity. That's a problem. So here's your biggest problem. Your biggest problem is that your thoughts are not pulling you into a big vision. You think too small. You think too small of yourself. You think too small of your existence, of what you're capable of who our creator is, right? So your vision of yourself and the world is small. It's tiny. You're playing small. Your goals are small. Your thought process is broken. You don't dream big enough. Like I said, it's just a thought, and you have, but it's not your dominant thought, right? Think about this. Your goals, where you want to go, who you are, your vision, your future, your family, your kids, whatever you want for them. Like, what's your big goal? What's your vision? Sergio says he has a big vision. The problem with you, Sergio, and for a lot of us, is that your vision, your goal, your big dream is just a thought. It's there, but it's not your dominant thought. You don't flood yourself with those emotions. You don't flood yourself with you accomplishing those goals. You don't flood yourself with those big dreams. It just runs in the back of your mind and you kind of remember it sometimes. Sometimes you get excited, but most of the time you're living in scarcity. You're living in lack of abundance. You're living in fear. You're living in protection mode. You're just waking up and trying to figure out, how am I going to get through this day? How am I going to pay for that bill? How am I going to make that deal? And you're just in protection. You're trying to survive. You're in survival mode. So your big dream and your big thought are not dominant. You don't wake up obsessing over it. You don't wake up dreaming about it, seeing yourself, feeling it in that moment, conditioning your mind and having your body follow along. So I wake up and I see myself and I feel myself in that new future. And when I really want something, I'm obsessing about it, right? I'm learning it. I'm taking it in. I'm rejecting any thought that's counterproductive to my goal, to my vision, to my dream. Anything that will provide a catalyst, positivity, a self reinforcement is what I allow in. I flood myself with that vision, with that future. So what do you got to do? Your goals, guys. What's your goal going forward? Clear intention. What do you want? Get clear on it. And then once you're clear with it, flood yourself with that elevated emotion and connection to that future. Pull it to you. Do you see yourself driving in that cool new car? Do you see yourself vacationing in that place? Do you see yourself living in that cool place? Do you see yourself doing X amount of deals? Do you see yourself having an awesome relationship with your wife? Do you see yourself having children? Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Do you see yourself in amazing shape? Despite your present circumstances, the whole cool thing about this, the whole key to all of this, is that it's up to us. We control it. But the fact of the matter is, we're all living in the past and wondering why we can't obtain the goals. We're not fulfilling it. We're not there. We always revert back to scarcity because you guys don't understand it. I have a career that I love, which provides me everything I need, but I am nervous to take the next step. What are you nervous about, Chris? I mean, it's normal to be nervous, but are you letting that dictate and control what it is that you want? Just let me know what you're specifically, what are you nervous about? Because this is important to do. Take the time to learn about yourself. Stop living in autopilot. Stop and think. The thought on the thought. Write down your behaviors. What do you do every day? Good, bad, or indifferent? Like, what do you do? And figure out if those behaviors serve you. Are they getting you closer to the goal? Are they getting closer to that new next best version of yourself? Or are they pulling you back into your past? Do you guys see how this works? Ask, why you feel this way. Like I asked Chris, why do you feel this way? Like, what is it that is going on? There's always a deeper reason. You just got to learn how to dig deeper. The surface stuff is surface. You got to learn how to dig deeper to find the answer. Start setting and getting clear on your goals. How do your goals make you feel? Visualize the end result and how that will make you feel. Now you start connecting emotions to the outcome. Your emotions will drive you. Failure, failure, fear of failure. I have a career that I love, which provides me everything I need, but I am nervous to take that next step. Well, what is the next step that you're nervous about? You have a fear of failure. Hey, look, we're all, you know, I'm scared every day, but I don't use that fear to stop me. I use it as a driver. It's normal to feel scared and afraid, or else you wouldn't be human. But the way that we can connect and push through it is use that as a catalyst, right? False expectation was it false expectations appearing real? That's fear, right? Fear is made up in our mind. That's how we're conditioned. Something in your past has conditioned you to take the safe route, Chris. So once you're able to break through that, I don't know how many times I've been fearful of doing something and I pushed through it and I look back and I'm like, man, that was not even close to what I created it to be in my mind before doing it. Like I was creating all these crazy scenarios and these different outcomes and it's scary and what if this happens? What if that happens? What if this happens? What if that like you're just playing this like crazy scenario in your head and none of it ever comes to reality. So we end up psyching ourselves out. You know, Chris says he's fearful of starting a real estate investing career. What's the worst that could happen, Chris? What's the worst thing that could happen? You lose money. You don't do any deals. I don't know. What is it to you? What's the worst thing that could happen to you? And if that was to happen, would you survive? Like we have to start putting things into perspective. Like we let the fear control us. So he says, lose money. What, like gone forever? You can't make any more money ever again? That's it? Like you're gonna go live in a cardboard box? I mean, what does that even mean? Lose money? Why are you gonna lose money? Do you not, believe in yourself to make the right decisions? Can you analyze things? Can you use reasoning? Can you be objective? Can you learn something and ask advice and maybe get a mentor or partner with someone? Why do you have to put it all on your shoulders? You know, I've lost money before. Big deal. It's just money. Money's just a tool to get you to what you really want, which is freedom and experiences and time with your family and creating memories. Money comes and goes. Like we just too get you guys get caught up too much in money, right? Like that you're a slave to it. Money is not the problem. Money is not holding you back. The deeper reason, Chris, is limited self belief. It's not money. You need to work on believing in yourself and having that commitment to reach that goal. If you lose money in the interim, so be it. Again, it's just money. You can make more money. Money starts flowing with energy, right? I didn't start making money until I believed that I was worthy of it. I was worthy of making the money. One of the things like uh, when I got my one of my cars, my Porsche. I remember like I was willing that into existence for me. Like, okay, this is kind of corny, or it's a material thing, right? We all have certain material things that we think are you know cool or makes us feel good, and this has nothing to do with. I'm not teaching you these strategies to get material things. That's just a byproduct. But if at a time I was obsessing about getting this 911. I was seeing myself driving it. I was listening to the engine. I felt myself driving it. I saw myself in it, right? And I thought about it. I obsessed about it. I looked at the website. I designed the car hundreds of times on the website. I would play the Porsche website because you can hear the motor, the record of the motor. So I'd listen to that, watch YouTube video. I mean, I was obsessive about it. It was crazy. And the minute I got it, I had this like terrible feeling. I had this imposter syndrome going on where I was driving and I almost like I parked it for like 2 weeks. I didn't take it out of my garage because I started playing this narrative in my mind that I didn't deserve it, that I was a fraud, that I was a house of cards, that it was temporary, that I was gonna eventually lose it, and they're gonna, why? Because I put myself in my past thoughts. Because I had a car repossessed before when I was struggling, and I, didn't understand how all of this worked. I wasn't coming from a place of creativity, from abundance, from creating my future. My body went back to that old feeling of scarcity, of losing, the fear of losing money, the fear of losing something. Because it happened to me before, so I pulled myself back in the past. So all of a sudden, I'm driving this really nice, expensive dream car of mine, and I went in the tank. I started telling myself all these crazy thoughts, and I started to believe it. So I was embarrassed to even drive the car for like 2 weeks. And then I snapped out of it. I'm like, man, like our mind is so powerful. Like we could literally create or we could destroy. It's up to us. And as I started to become more aware of this and understand why we have these thoughts and understand my past and my childhood and the learned experiences that I had and what those created in my mind, I started to be able to evaluate and break those feelings down. Just because I thought that didn't mean it was true. Just because I had that memory or that feeling doesn't mean that's my outcome. That's not going to dictate how this is going to turn out, right? So we have to be careful. We have to be careful of the things we tell ourselves because we're our biggest listener. Think about it. All those thoughts, and some people even talk to themselves. All those thoughts that are playing in your head, you're listening to them, good, bad, or indifferent. So if you're not aware of it, that will start to become your identity and your truth. If you keep telling yourself, Chris, I'm scared to lose money, guess what? You're going to lose money because you're actually willing that to happen. Like you're creating that environment, you're creating those circumstances. Your mind is going to fear, it's going to scarcity, it's going to, I'm going to lose money, I'm going to lose money. And eventually, those things find you. Instead of like, this is going to be amazing. I'm going to learn how to do real estate. I'm going to step out of my comfort zone. I'm going to educate myself. I'm going to align myself with the guy that I trust or have a joint venture with. I'm going to learn how he does it. It's going to be amazing. I'm going to do a deal. I'm going to make a bunch of money. I'm going to do it again and then again, and I'm going to just blow it up. So do you understand that it's two different thought processes? They're both your choice. Either you think you can or you think you can't. Either way, you're right. We've all heard that. It's true. This is the game inside the game. This is what's going to take you to the next level. Not a direct mail campaign, not the text campaign, not a cool script, not a certain pitch, not a tactic, not anything. It's the work on yourself. It's the work of being emotionally intelligent. It's the work of learning how to create, not live in scarcity. That is the game changer. I promise you, that's the game changer. That's what's going to separate you from the average. So again, guys, we talked about getting in the zone. How do you get in the zone? And I talked to you a little bit about that today. How do you get in the zone of your greatness? Each of us have a unique gift. Each of us have a certain greatness that was given to us by God. How do you tap into that? How do you start looking at a big vision, a big dream, and all you see is opportunity, abundance? You're very clear, you're very specific, you're very action oriented to see, achieve those outcomes. You see yourself in that desired result already, even though we're sitting here today. I see myself in the future. I've already thought about it this morning, where I'm going, how it will feel, how I'm going to get there, who am I with, what does it look like, what does it feel like, what does it taste like? Real. Guys, any questions that, I hope some of this will sink in a little bit for you. And I love answering questions about this. This is kind of where I really enjoy having these discussions. I think this is where magic happens. I think this is where we can really see advancements in our life, our personal life, our professional life, in every aspect. You know, how we look at the world, how we see our life, how we how we interpret our past, how we start to be cognizant of our feelings, of our emotions, of our thoughts, and then being able to be emotionally intelligent to start controlling that, controlling the narrative, right? Because we're in charge, guys. We're in the driver's seat. You're welcome, guys. Any more questions? Can I clarify anything? Can I expand on anything? Can I help you in any way? Can you share? You guys want to come? Anybody want to come on and have a live discussion? You know, again, these are the type of things that I work on. These are things that I know work. I've seen it done. I've experienced it throughout my life in many different things. Each time I've wanted to get to a certain goal or an outcome or a you know reality, I go to work on this. I obsess on it. I dream about it. I experience it, and I don't listen to the noise. I don't listen to that bitch voice that Matt has. It takes time, it takes skill, it takes awareness, it takes emotional intelligence, and sometimes it can be painful. You got to go through some pain, right? Everybody wants the baby, but they don't want the labor. You got to go through the labor. There's really no way around that. How can I help, guys? It's amazing. You guys don't have any questions? Did I even make sense to you? Was this like way over your head? Was this some guru mumbo jumbo? Do you even believe this stuff, or is this kind of hokey pokey silliness? Sergio's eye opening. Right on, man. A few more minutes, guys. If you guys have any questions, I'll take them. If not, I'm going to bounce. I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you for being here and listening. I hope anybody that watches this in the future has provided you some insight and some clarity. Maybe it'll kind of spark something that you've been missing. go back and rewatch this because I threw out a lot of stuff that, I'm not the best presenter. I try to get my best thoughts out, and maybe I'm not as clear as others, but try to be as clear as possible to help you guys start opening your stream of consciousness, to open up your vision, to understand how to get in that zone, your zone of greatness, where you can achieve anything, where magic happens. That to me is where we should spend most of our time, and the rest kind of follows suit. Anyway, guys, appreciate it. This is what being phenomenal is about. We're all phenomenal. We all have greatness. We all have God-given abilities and strengths, and we don't share. They're all not all common. We don't share the same thing. So that's what's cool. Each of us watching this is unique and genuine and rare and one of a kind. So find that within you, believe it, dream it, live it, and then you'll start to see some awesome things happen in your life. And I just want to let you know I'm rooting for you. I'll pray for you. I hope you have an amazing life and career and family, and you achieve and get everything that you ever desired. I'm rooting for you. I'm not a hater. You know, I've worked on myself a lot to understand that. I don't need to be jealous. I know there's enough to go around for everybody. This is a big world. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of opportunity. And so the key is just to see that, right? Open up your eyes. I don't need to be jealous of the next person's success because there's plenty of it out there. There's opportunity everywhere. But that is it's only observable and present, determined by how you think of things and how you see others and how you treat others and your view of yourself. All right, guys. I appreciate it again, man. As always, be phenomenal. God bless you. Tune in. I got more live coming up this week on Thursday or Friday. I can't remember. I got a guy coming on who's a high level guy who's going to help you tap into money to grow your business. So that's exciting. You want to figure out ways to tap into other resources, to find lines of credit, to find money opportunities to get funded, and to grow your business. So I'll put an announcement out on that. Hope you guys can tune in, and we'll see you then. All right, guys. Have a great day. God bless.